Diddy's life just went from glam to grim, and the whole world is watching. Right now, the once untouchable mogul sits locked up inside Brooklyn MDC, waiting for October when the judge will decide his fate for good. But you know Diddy, he's never one to sit quietly. The man is throwing everything at the wall to claw his way back to freedom. At first, his team tried to play it safe, offering a cool $1 million bail package. But the judge wasn't buying it, denied in a heartbeat. And just when everyone thought he'd cool off, Diddy came back swinging with a jaw-dropping $50 million offer. Yes, you heard that right. $50 million, all just to get out of that cell.
Now to the Sean Diddy Combs case. We may learn this week if he will be released on bond while he awaits sentencing. His lawyers filed a request asking the judge to release Combs on $50 million.
Diddy's argument, simple but bold. He says he shouldn't be sitting behind bars because technically, the crimes he was convicted of weren't violent. Now, let's break this down. He was found guilty on 2 counts under the MAN Act, which makes it illegal to move people across state lines for unlawful purposes. Even though bail rules call this a violent offense on paper, the truth is, there was no direct physical harm in those charges. But here's the catch. If Diddy walks free now, everyone who testified against him could be in serious danger. And that's the real reason judges are so hesitant. They know the stakes.
The judge said next time. So he probably let Diddy get away with it to see how far he was going to do it. But then he said, nah, we're not having this. Because you got to realize the jury is not sequestered. They go home every day. And he's known for tampering with witnesses. If you go through the trial right today, you see how he was trying to tamper with some of the people by having security, D-Rock, and other people talk to them. They are saying that in their testimony. So the judge is very aware of the fact by hearing the testimony of some of the witnesses that he was trying to tamper with the...
During the trial, prosecutors did their best to paint him as a monster. They brought in testimony about Diddy allegedly being aggressive toward Cassie and another woman known only as Jane. But guess what? The jury didn't convict him on those specific assault claims. They actually found him not guilty on direct violent assault charges. Some people still point to that infamous 2016 hotel video as undeniable proof of his behavior. But here's the twist. Because the case wasn't filed in California back then, the statute of limitations expired. That video couldn't legally be used to nail him. Now his legal team is shouting from the rooftops, you can't lock him up for things he wasn't convicted of. But prosecutors see it differently. They argue that the pile of testimony, the whispers of past incidents, and the concerning pattern of behavior are enough to show he's dangerous if released. And honestly, the judge seems to agree. Meanwhile, Jaguar Wright is out here warning people to stay cautious. She claims Diddy has been pulling every damage control move in the book since day one of this trial, covering his tracks, manipulating narratives, and playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
Diddy does have a plan to try to derail the information, derail the chain of evidence, derail history as it actually happened. And he is the kind of guy that has no problem with re-victimizing people all over again. Let's just keep it a buck. These girls showed up at a very opportune time, did they not? Adria and Lamisha Fuller. Very opportune time. I do Pierce Morgan. The elites go insane. Ariel Mitchell Kidd drops Adria English as a client after she got drunk and talked with Tasha K, which was bad in itself, if you ask me. I go on Pierce Morgan and say, I have 3 witnesses that are ready to come forward against the Carters. I didn't say against Diddy, I said against the Carters. And then there was the fake C&D, which was nothing more than a phone call from the lawyer Alex Spiro, who tanked the Rock Nation offering so Dame Dash couldn't make any.
Jaguar didn't stop there. She went all in, saying Diddy's conviction is a ticking bomb that could shake the whole industry. With people like Albu speaking out against him, the financial fallout is already massive. Deals collapsing, credibility shattered, and the money train slowing down. And let's be real, when money starts bleeding, that's when people in power panic the most.
Oh, Diddy!
I'll be sure it's somebody that at the time when you were doing your run back in 2024, you were waiting to hear from him. You knew he was going to say something. He finally waited to do the Diddy documentary to finally speak. And I think TMZ put out, or I forgot who put it out, but there was a documentary kind of put out on the downfall of Diddy. And I'll Be Sure was part of that, speaking his story. For you to see him, you know, because again, he was very calculated on who he spoke with, whether it's real life or whoever it was. He was calculated as far as who he was going to speak with, but he ended up finally speaking and it going on the documentary. What credit do you give him for coming out and at least starting the conversation?
What do you mean? What credit?
Yes.
All credit.
There you go.
One of the best moments for me was seeing that documentary and watching how the footage that they took from this blue couch lined up perfectly with everything he had to say. Why did that not hit?
I don't
hit different.
Right.
I'm just
you know, and you said it on your platform too, like, why aren't, as we're closing in on this trial, why isn't there more?
How didn't that hit different?
Right.
Because as much as I love, I'll Be Sure, much as I love Mr. Albert Brown Sr., father, grandfather, amazing artist, incredible writer, wonderful entrepreneur, and radio personality. It's so funny when I talk about all of the things that my friend I'll Be Sure is. It's funny, everyone forgets that he did all of these things. Like, it's sad that not until that documentary, people weren't even acknowledging that he was an original investor, owner in Uptown Records that got demolished. So bad boy. But for me to be able to say the same things that he was saying, and we haven't even been in each other's presence, how did that hit different?
There you go.
It's like they just don't want to accept the truth. Angie passes away.
Yeah, that right there.
Al said something. I said something. We were attacked immediately.
Right.
Why? You want to know what else I find funny? We got attacked for speaking about the truth. But all of those other entertainers, ain't none of them say nothing. Especially the females who were mentored and influenced by Angie Stone, no different than me. Not as much. I was truly influenced by Betty Wright, but then again, Angie Stone was influenced by her, so I guess it's all the same thing.
Now let's talk about bail law, because this is where things get messy. To walk free, Diddy has to prove two things: that he's not a flight risk, and that he won't break the law again. His lawyers are practically begging the court, saying he's not going anywhere. They're promising he'll hand over his passport, strap on an ankle monitor, and wouldn't dare abandon a $50 million bond. I mean, who in their right mind would walk away from that much money, right? But here's the bigger problem: convincing the judge that he won't repeat his past behavior. And that, my friends, is nearly impossible. Diddy has a long history that screams otherwise, and you don't have to take my word for it. Jaguar Wright has been exposing him for years. Clips from 5 years ago are now resurfacing, showing just how long people have been calling out his dark side. The judge isn't playing games either. In fact, he reminded the courtroom that even Diddy's own lawyers admitted something that could now haunt him. They said if the case had been only about domestic violence, Diddy would likely have been convicted, especially because of that 2016 video. That little slip by his team is now a dagger in his bail request. It's like, how can you argue for leniency when your own defense basically confessed he'd be guilty under different circumstances? And let's not forget, there's another layer to this. Celebrities. Tons of them. People who've been linked to Diddy over the years are allegedly terrified of him walking out of jail. Why? Because Diddy is rumored to have blackmail material. Dirt that could destroy careers, reputations, and marriages. Imagine the panic in Hollywood if he suddenly roams free with that leverage in his back pocket.
Diddy is a shepherd for the devil. Everybody told me he was a shepherd for the devil, and I seen it for myself. Y'all want to know how divisive Sean Combs, Honey Combs is? Go talk to Father MC. and asked him how he feels about the love of his life being stopped to death, and all Puff wanted to do was keep it quiet so nobody knew that he was responsible because he didn't have the appropriate motherfucking goddamn permits to do half of the shows he was doing at Howard. Sean Combs, your agenda to destroy talent in the music industry, as successful as it's been, it needs to end. The way you embarrass those people who are making the band, yeah, it might have made good TV. It was good TV because you were sitting there humiliating people for having talent. Why you hate talent so much, Puff? Trying to contend with someone filled with power who know they doesn't need you is much harder than contending with someone that has no talent, that can't survive without you. The only thing that proves is that you're a narcissist. You have beautiful children. You should spend more time looking at them instead of looking up little young girls' skirts. That thing that girl said about you, the side bitch, while you was with Cassie, who was the side bitch while you was with Kim. Your relationships overlap so much, Puff. You like a monkey for real. You like a monkey. And you know how monkeys travel through the jungle, right? They go from vine to vine. But when monkeys travel from vine to vine, they don't swing on the rope and jump off and catch the next rope. No, they don't let go of one branch until they got a firm grasp on the other. And that's your whole relationship story. You're disrespectful to women. For real, you're probably the Jeffrey Epstein of hip-hop. And Puff, if your ass is itching about it, you can say something to me too. Because I know what really happened with you, Shine, and Jennifer Lopez. I know what really happened, yo. That boy that you tried to clone and turn into Biggie Smalls. Shout out to the memory of Biggie, yo. If you don't want me talking, Puff, keep your distance. Because I'm not big and I'm not Tupac. My head is always on a swivel. And what's really sad is, of all of the things that I've been sharing with y'all over the past 6 weeks, I ain't told you.
Another thing everyone's asking is whether this bail fight even makes sense. Let's do the math. If he ends up with a sentence of 1 to 2 years, much of that time could be counted against what he's already served, meaning he might not have that long left behind bars anyway. Getting out now, just to walk back into prison a few months later, might not even be worth the chaos. That's where Gene Deal's theory comes in. He's not convinced the feds were after Diddy at all. No, he believes the real prize was those rumored tapes. The same tapes that could potentially drag down huge names across the industry. If Gene's right, then Diddy was just the key to unlock a bigger, darker door.
When they have a warrant, a search warrant for a residence, it's not for a body. If they had one for a body, they would have brought it in. Now, if they would have went there and they found guns, drugs, and Diddy was there, they would have brought him in. You know what I'm saying? They would have brought him in. Like they brought his sons in. And then they want to know, well, why are these unlicensed guns in the house? Who drugs do these belong to? All those things like that. But a lot of people probably believe that, you know, they just want to know, and the government want to know what things those people were doing on those tapes and who was doing shit on those tapes. Because I heard they found like 250 cameras or something like that.
That's what they say. They said they found a lot of cameras.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about him recording some of these parties, and he's using a lot of this stuff for blackmail, like a lot of celebrities, even as far as politicians. You know, I think even Little Rod said that Diddy had every room taped and bugged.
Right. Well, in his affidavit or his deposition that he gave to the courts, he said every room was bugged, and that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians, and like I said, in other platforms, people that was in the ministry. Allegedly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if the feds got their hands on these tapes, you could very well see like a domino effect of shit coming down on everybody.
It depends on what's on the tapes. You know what I'm saying? If it has anything, see, what people don't understand is this, is that having sex is not a crime, but having sex with underage.
And just when Diddy thought he could slide through with another tactic, prosecutors slammed the door shut. Late one Wednesday night, almost 3 weeks after the verdict, they dropped a bombshell filing. His request for acquittal or a brand new trial, flat out rejected. According to them, it has no legal basis. Their message couldn't be clearer. The conviction stands, and October 3rd is coming fast.
Case had nothing to do with really putting Puff in jail, because those people are educated enough to know they could have won that case by other charges and they didn't even go for it. They didn't even go for it. That gun charge was locked, sealed, and they didn't even go for it. Why? It was about them going in there, getting those tapes. I think the prosecutor name was Damian Williams. He was sent there and put that because somebody told him in high places. Puff might be the Black Jeff Epstein. He got all the tapes of some people that are friends of ours. They found out that he had those tapes of them. Y'all go get them. Why is the southern state of New York going all the way over in California and down in Miami when they have their own divisions? Why? People ain't thinking about that. They went down there because some people told them, yo, y'all go down there and y'all go get these tapes from this dude. Because we know he got them. And he got them stored in one of these houses. They go in there, they do a raid. Bruh. They brought out they said close to 900 some bottles of baby oil. I know this for a fact. When you do a raid, you do what they call a field test on any substance you bring out that house. You do a field test on any substance that you bring out that house. They not bringing 900 bottles of baby oil out that shit if it was just baby oil.
Still, prosecutors did walk away with one solid win, the MAN Act convictions. They leaned on every piece of evidence they could, including that 2016 video. The jury saw Diddy and R&B star Cassie, real name Cassandra Ventura, in a Los Angeles hotel hallway. Cassie herself testified, painting a chilling picture of the night she decided to leave one of those infamous freak-offs. She told the jury that Diddy lashed out, losing control, and it gave prosecutors the perfect angle. They argued his behavior wasn't just about wild parties. No, it revealed a deep pattern of dominance, aggression, and control.
But if this the plan that God got it for him right now, it's God's plan. And what y'all don't understand, y'all celebrate thinking that it can't happen in jail. They might put him in a couple of places before he make it over there to Madoc, R. Kelly, rest of the criminals that's have easygoing spots and stuff like that, but it still can happen there. Somebody get mad, somebody got a relative or something like that he did something to that we don't know about, and they run into him, and they hit him with his own words, take that, take that. Then what y'all gonna say? I ain't worrying about it, Mighty. This shit is funny to me, man. this is real funny that the prosecution spent all that money, all that time, and all that resources when they had legitimate charges that they could have put on him other than the RICO, other than the racketeering. That gun charge is mandatory. So now you got to realize this. A lot of people gonna bring up cases to the federal government. This becomes case law now.
Will October bring Diddy freedom or a harsh reality check? Will the courtroom whispers about blackmail, hidden tapes, and celebrity secrets finally surface? Gene Deal sure thinks so. He believes the biggest names might still be exposed when the full story unravels. And honestly, the way this case has twisted and turned, nothing feels impossible anymore. As it stands, Diddy's story is a messy cocktail of money, power, fame, and scandal. From offering $50 million just to step outside prison walls, to prosecutors slamming down every move he makes, this trial is already one for the history books. And with sentencing day marked on the calendar, all eyes are locked on October. So here's the burning question. Was this all about Diddy, or is he just a piece of a bigger puzzle? Do you buy Gene's theory that the feds are really chasing bigger fish, or do you think the judge will throw the book at him and make him the example of what happens when power goes unchecked? Either way, one thing's for sure. Diddy's glittering empire is crumbling, and this scandal isn't just his to carry. It's sending shockwaves through the entire industry, dragging reputations, secrets, and lies into the spotlight. And when that final gavel drops, the truth might be uglier than anyone ever imagined.